Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Kevin, if you're ready, I'll go ahead and introduce everybody and we'll just move on. Okay.
All right.
Hi, everyone. We have several different classes that's joining us today. We're very happy that you're here for our presentation. My name is Dr. Brian Ruth, and we're excited to have Mr. Kevin McCarthy with us. He's a division controller for the Natural Fibers Group for the Bernhardt Manufacturing Company. If you have questions during the presentation, if you would just post them in the chat function, and we'll try to get to as many as we can, maybe at the end of the presentation. Also, just a quick reminder to my students, please keep your camera on for the duration of the meeting. So now, also keep your mic muted. That way we don't hear any extra sound going on. So I'd like to welcome Kevin, and I'll turn it over to you now.
All right, thank you. So yeah, my name is Kevin McCarthy. I'm a CMA Certified Management Accountant and a CSCA Certified in Strategy and Competitive Analysis. I currently work in Charlotte as a division controller for the Natural Fibers Group of Bernhardt Manufacturing Company. We manufacture disposable cotton products as well as purified cotton for the major pharmaceutical industries, and we manufacture polyurethane foam products, everything from spray foam insulation to memory foam mattresses to the seat in an airplane that functions as your flotation device. So a lot of different manufacturing processes, and definitely something where knowledge of the CMA comes in quite handy. So I'm a graduate of Appalachian State University, although I've lived in Raleigh previously. I have a master's in history and in accounting. I'm a former teacher as well. So if you have any questions, there should be time for those at the end of the presentation. So currently go over today's agenda. Going to cover careers in management accounting, what the IMA is, what the CMA can do for you, and how to become a CMA. And then afterwards, we should have some time for questions. So we'll start with careers in management accounting. This picture helps to show the different roles and responsibilities of the internal management accountant as compared to the external public accountant. The rectangle on the left represents the company organization where the management accountant is employed. On a daily basis, the management accountant has responsibilities for developing, implementing, and managing the processes within the company. They'll also get involved with both internal and external reporting. The public accountant is an external accountant and will provide advice to their client on details related to audit and tax. They're not involved in the daily operations or decisions that support the implementation of a company's strategy, and the main focus of their job is to ensure that the organization is complying with appropriate regulations and requirements. So I think you can see that the roles and day-to-day responsibilities for these two types of accountants are very different. Essentially, the management accountant helps a company to make money, and the public accountant helps a company to stay in compliance. So if we take a look at this picture, it will show us where management accountants work, the titles they hold, and the type of work they do. So start with the light green boxes that you can see. These are some of the titles that internal accountants might hold in the workplace. Titles included here are very high level. Management accountants could also be cost analysts, accounting analysts, budget analysts, financial analysts. Now let's look at the blue boxes. These are some of the titles that internal accountants might hold in the workplace. Titles included here are very high level, these are the examples of work that management accountants are doing on the job. Budgeting and forecasting is a very common job responsibility for management accountants. They also get involved with supporting the decision-making process, analyzing company performance, and internal controls, among other things. And finally, the gray boxes represent where you'll find management accountants working. Basically, they're working in all sorts of companies and organizations. You got government, multinational, not-for-profit. So this information is derived from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. It tells us that over 75% of the accounting and finance professionals in the US are working inside companies and organizations. The other 25% or so are working in professional services. These are your public accountants who support their clients with audit and tax advice. It's important to understand this because if you start your career in public accounting, it is very likely that within 3 to 5 years, you will move into a position in industry. IMA and the CMA can help you make that transition. Also, if you start your career in industry, there's a lot of good opportunities available to you, 75% of the job market. So again, IMA and the CMA can support you in your career. Also, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics forecast, the number of jobs for accounting and financial professionals is projected to grow by 10% from 2016 to 2026. Which is faster than the average for all other occupations. Globalization, a growing economy, and a complex tax and regulatory environment are expected to continue to lead to strong demand for accounting and financial professionals. So you've chosen a major that's very marketable and it's in demand. There's a lot of things that you can do with your degree and strong growth in the employment market for people with your skills and knowledge. So there are some big changes that are occurring in the profession. These changes will grant opportunities for professionals who are prepared for them and who see them as opportunities rather than challenges. Data analytics. This knowledge needs to be part of your skill set today. You need to graduate with an ability to manipulate data and analytics. That's really the table stakes for employment right now. Artificial intelligence affects all businesses today, and it will have an even greater impact in the near future. And blockchain technology is on the horizon. The company that I work for is currently employing blockchain in our organic products. Right now we have deployed it in Europe and I believe Canada. It's coming to the US at some point, but our, again, we make disposable cotton products, among which is feminine care, and our Procter & Gamble, we manufacture for the Procter & Gamble Pure line of organic feminine products. And we use blockchain to verify the chain of custody for the organic cotton. So if you're in Europe and you buy Procter & Gamble's products, there's a QR code that you can scan, and it will use blockchain to tell you which Procter & Gamble plant manufactured the product, which plant purified it, which is what we do. We purify the cotton before we ship it to Procter & Gamble to manufacture with, and which farm we bought it from. So you can see all the way down to the organic farm where that cotton in that box came from, and it has an audit trail through blockchain that verifies that that information is accurate. So it's already, these technologies are in the workforce and you will encounter them. And, you know, what do these changes mean for you? They're disrupting the accounting profession. When you enter the workforce, your entry-level analyst job is going to be very different than what analysts were doing 20 years ago. And you're going to be much more involved in the data and analytics and making higher level decisions than the data copying and data entry that was done years prior that is now mostly automated. So management accountants are uniquely qualified to manage, integrating these changes in. We have the skill sets for data analytics. We're part of the teams that are implementing AI and blockchain. So, these higher level functions are what you want to make sure that your skill set contains. And, management accountants are working in organizations of all sizes and all industries. All companies, whether publicly traded, privately held, not-for-profit, government, small business, they all need accounting and financial management professionals with good planning, budgeting, and most importantly, decision analysis skills. So now I'd like to share with you a real life example of someone who works as a management accountant. Margaret is a CMA and works for the Walt Disney Company. In her role as a financial analyst, she regularly applies management accounting skills to support the company's internal decision-making process. So, she has an interesting and rewarding career with a great company. And, one of the interesting projects she's worked on is the launch of Disney Plus streaming service. Normally, you wouldn't think of accounting being responsible for something like that, but the way business is integrated now, instead of being siloed, you are very much involved on teams that work on things like this. Another example would be Selorm, who is a CMA who works for Amazon in Seattle as a program manager. In his current role, he manages internal operations in a benchmarking program for North America, Europe, India, Japan, and the Middle East. And, he advises that you start planning for the CMA exam early in your college career. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the IMA. We are the Institute of Management Accountants, and we're a global association with more than 125,000 members worldwide who are accounting and finance professionals working in business. Our organization has more than 300 professional and student chapters located in cities and campuses around the world, and this creates a great networking opportunity. IMA also offers the CMA certification, which is the global standard in management accounting, in addition to many other career-enhancing resources. IMA also has a lot to offer its student members. We have more than 130 student chapters and 200 professional chapters around the world, and these offer a great opportunity to develop leadership skills and a professional network. IMA also holds an annual student leadership conference where more than 600 students, faculty, and speakers gather for basically just a fantastic professional development and networking event. This year, the conference will be held virtually in November 13th, which the virtual conference makes it a lot easier to attend. I would highly recommend looking into and attending it and listening to some of these speakers. Normally, you have to deal with the cost of travel, but this year it should be pretty easy to attend it. And last year we held it in Charlotte. We were the host chapter. I don't think I mentioned that before, but I'm based in Charlotte and I am part of the Charlotte chapter. So we held it in Charlotte and it turned out to be a really great event, and I got to see firsthand all of the benefits that this conference offers, and I highly recommend it. Also, more than $30,000 is awarded each year in scholarships. So, be sure to check the IMA website for details about various scholarships that we offer and the requirements and their due dates. The student case and manuscript competitions are fun and allow students to showcase their skills and knowledge in front of industry leaders that may want to hire them. And lastly, the IMA offers reduced membership and CMA related. So I'd recommend that you connect with your local chapter. For Meredith College, it's going to be the North Carolina Triangle Area chapter at nctriangle.imanet.org. And, it's just one of many chapters throughout the Carolinas. There's a Piedmont Triad chapter. There's the Charlotte chapter, for which I'm the chapter president. I would highly recommend keeping my contact information should you end up in the Charlotte area and want to become more involved in your chapter. Additionally, I know that upon graduation, you can find your resume might look a little thin trying to get a job with no job experience. One thing that can help you stand out from your peers is board service. So you can always look into becoming a member of your local chapter's board. They're always welcoming people willing to contribute, and it looks pretty good on a resume. So now I'll talk a little bit about the CMA certification, which is probably the main reason you're all here. So what is the CMA? It's a globally recognized certification. It's not a license granted by a US state, which is the way the CPA operates. So what this means is someone sitting for the CMA in the United States is sitting for the same exam as someone in China or Dubai or the Netherlands. And if you move to a different state, or if you move to Spain and want to be an accountant, you are still the CMA. You do not need to retest or take a different test or transfer your license or any of that. You are a CMA worldwide. The CMA covers the critical skills and knowledge that accounting and financial management professionals need to be successful in their careers. And CMAs are trained to be strategic thinkers. They interpret financial information and provide guidance to senior management that supports the company's strategy. So the CMA exam is composed of two parts. It tests your fluency in both accounting and finance. Typically, part one is associated with accounting skills and part two is associated with finance skills. These exams are each 4 hours in length. It is 100 multiple choice questions and 2 essay scenarios, which are like mini case studies. These exam parts can be taken in any order. And this slide will provide a high-level overview of the test topics. More details are available on the IMA website. But hopefully some of these topics look familiar to what you've been studying. So part one of the exam is called Financial Planning, Performance, and Analytics, and it has 6 sections. First section focuses on external financial reporting decisions, and it covers financial accounting topics similar to what you'd learn in your intermediate financial accounting courses. The next 3 sections cover topics that you would learn in your cost or managerial accounting courses, such as the master budget process, variance analysis, balanced scorecard, job order costing, activity-based costing, a lot of topics like that. 5th section is going to cover best practice in internal control. And the final section, called Technology and Analytics, is going to cover content related to accounting information systems. This includes topics like data governance, technology enablement, and data analytics. So part 2 of the exam is strategic financial management, and it has 6 sections that are predominantly finance-based. So financial statement analysis is going to focus on financial ratios. That's liquidity, profitability, turnover, things like that. And you'll be expected to calculate the ratios and to interpret them. For example, how is your company trending over time, or how does it compare to competitors in the industry? Corporate finance focuses on risk and return models and financial instruments. Decision analysis is going to cover things like variable and fixed costs, cost volume profit analysis, contribution margin income statements. Risk management will focus on best practices in enterprise risk management. Basically, companies need to be prepared to manage risks by identifying them and creating plans to defer or transfer or even avoid them where possible. Investment decisions is going to cover capital budgeting techniques. These are things like discounted cash flow methods, net present value, internal rate of return, and various other ways to evaluate investments for an organization. And finally, the last section focuses on professional ethics. Ethics is an important topic to the IMA as well as to the profession, and this section is going to cover IMA's statement on ethical professional practice. Ethics is a very important topic when you're dealing with other people's money, and you may be young to remember, but a little while back we had WorldCom and Enron and the fall of Arthur Andersen, all due to people playing in the gray areas of ethics and it coming back to cause issues for the companies and the people involved. So each year, the IMA conducts a salary survey of its members. These are accounting and financial professionals in the United States. And in 2020, the survey showed that in the US, the CMA certified accounting professionals that are between the ages of 20 to 29 earn on average about 33% more in median total compensation than their non-certified accounting peers. So, keep in mind on how to interpret that number. This doesn't mean that you will automatically get a 33% pay increase when you earn the CMA. Basically, what it's saying is that the skills and knowledge that you acquire as a result of the CMA, along with the hard work and performance, will help you become a high achiever, and you'll get rewarded over time with a higher salary. So that by the time you're in your late 20s, you are earning about 33% more. The message from the survey is basically that the CMA certification provides a positive return on investment. And here are some testimonials from some high-level, very senior roles within companies. I've actually met both Ashley and Christian, yeah, I mean, they will vouch for it. Christian hires CMAs on a regular basis for Johnson & Johnson, who is one of our customers. And here's some testimonials from some young professionals who have pursued the CMA, and would like to just let you know that it is valuable tool to enhance your career. So what do you need to do to become a CMA? Well, you have to pass the 2 exam parts as well as fulfill the educational and work experience requirements. The education requirement states that you must have a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. The degree can be in any major, however, most of the CMA candidates hold degrees in accounting or finance. Candidates are not required to have already earned their degree in order to sit for the CMA. So often students will sit for the CMA prior to graduation. Candidates just need to complete their degree within 7 years of passing the exam parts. So you can sit for this exam as a student. As for the work experience requirements, candidates need to complete 2 years of professional work experience in order to become a CMA. A complete explanation of the types of positions that would fulfill the work experience requirement are listed in the CMA handbook and on the CMA website. But in general, it's work experience that requires analysis that will qualify. Internships and jobs that are clerical in nature are not going to fulfill the work experience requirement. So if your job is cost accountant or financial analyst, that's going to be work experience that counts. If your title is AP clerk or AR clerk or bookkeeper, that's not going to be the type of experience that will count towards the experience requirement. And then to maintain the CMA certification, you have to maintain your membership with the IMA and complete 30 hours of continuing professional education each year. Of those 30 hours, at least 2 hours must be in ethics training. So the exam itself is computer-based and it's taken at Prometric testing centers. Each year there are 3 testing windows. These are the only months in which the CMA exam can be taken. So if it's something you want to pursue, I would take a look over the next year or so, start planning out when you think you might be able to sit for the exam. Take into consideration travel plans, work, family, etc. And figure out which testing window you want to sit for and work backwards to figure out, how much time you want to study for the exam. That way you can, build out a schedule and stick to it. So remember, parts 1 and 2 can be taken in any order. A lot of people like to take part 1 first because it seems natural to follow the order, but you really can start with either. If you feel you're more of an accountant and that's your strength, I'd start with part 1. If you feel more confident with the finance content, then go ahead and start with part 2. Play to your strengths and get 1 part in the books. They don't have to build, or the 2 exams, they don't build on one another. It's really an accounting exam and a finance exam. So yeah, you can really just take them as you're more comfortable. You schedule the exam on your own, at your own pace. Some candidates will try to complete the exam very quickly, taking 1 exam per testing window or both the exams within a year. Other people take more time on average. I think most people take about 12 to 18 months to get the 2 exam parts passed. As students, you're at a bit of an advantage because the content is relevant to what you're learning at the moment and very fresh to you. So, you might be able to take it at a faster pace than somebody working 40 hours a week. So there are administrative fees associated with becoming a CMA. To join the IMA. IMA offers student membership, which is it's affordable. It's normally $39 per year, but because you are sitting here listening to me, you can use the code CAMPUS20 to join for $25 a year and get all the benefits of student membership. The next step to pursuing the CMA is to declare yourself a CMA candidate. You do that by paying the CMA program entrance fee. For students, you get 25% off on that. It's $188. It's the same entrance fee you pay, the same concept as paying to declare yourself for the CPA program. And then once you're ready to sit for an exam, you'll register for a specific exam part and testing window and pay the exam part fee. Again, student members receive an automatic 25% discount off of the exam fee. Even if you aren't ready to look at the CMA program right now, I'd still encourage you to join the IMA with the discount and take advantage of all the membership benefits. Additionally, the CMA Scholarship is available for top students who are interested in pursuing the CMA certification. So faculty can nominate up to 10 students each year for this scholarship, and students who receive the scholarship will receive at no cost 3 years of IMA membership, entrance into the CMA program, and 2 CMA exam sitting fees. So basically you get to take the exam for free. The fees alone have a value of about $1,000, but additionally, all U.S. recipients of the scholarship will also get 2 years of access to the Wiley CMA Excel online test bank. That alone has a value of about $600 and will definitely help your testing. So, if you apply for and receive the scholarship, all you really need to do is study to become a CMA. So in closing, I'd like to sum up some of the reasons you should consider pursuing the CMA. First, you can sit for it while you're still a student. You just have to earn your bachelor's here within 7 years of passing the exam, but sitting while you're a student means that it's fresh in your mind. You're taking what you've just had classes on, and it's definitely going to be a lot more helpful to have that all still fresh. As students, you're also much more efficient at studying. You know where to go and how to focus to effectively study. And once you're out of school for a while, you definitely lose that ability, and it takes a lot longer to prepare and study, and you're doing it at the end of a work day, and it's not quite as easy. And you get to take advantage of the reduced fees for the exam if you take it while you're still a student. So that's another good incentive. I hope you found the presentation to be informative and helpful. If you're looking for a way to differentiate yourself and enhance your skills, you should consider the CMA. So we've covered a lot of information in this presentation. I'd like to leave you with a simple checklist. The road to becoming a CMA is to start by joining IMA. You'll receive all the benefits of membership, and it's your first step towards certification. And if you're serious about enhancing your career, take and pass the CMA exam before you graduate. And after just 2 years of work experience, you'll be able to call yourself a CMA. So this time I'd like to open it up for questions.
Kevin, we didn't get any questions through the chat, but if students have a question now, just unmute your mic and feel free to ask.
So I had a question. I don't know why I didn't type it in the chat. I guess it didn't cross my mind. I was wondering if, CMA is like a CPA in that, not like the actual not that it's similar. From my understanding, the CMA is kind of like the BEC section of the CPA, but with its specificity. But what I was wondering, so it's like the CPA in that you only have the certification after you have the work experience, right?
That is correct.
So like I could sit for the exam now, but I would not hold the certification until after I completed those 2 years of experience.
Correct.
Okay.
And
In my head.
that's similar to the CPA exam in that regard. Although I think, I believe North Carolina reduced the work requirement to 1 year recently.
It's sorry, I spend a lot of my time planning for things. It's 1 year. It's weird. It's 1 year if it's for like students and they're working directly under a CPA, but it's still 4 years if you've already graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like if you do it while you're in college, yay for you, but if you don't, hey.
For the CMA exam, it's or for the CMA certification, it's 2 years of work experience in a analytical or decision-making job role. So cost accountant, financial analyst, and anything with accountant or analyst as opposed to clerk. It doesn't matter who you're working under or what exactly you're doing, as long as it's an accounting or finance job.
Thank you.
Yep. And as far as the CMA being like BEC, there's definitely overlap in those areas, but the CMA exam is going to go far beyond what is covered in BEC.
Kevin, I had a question in the chat. Is there a certain time period you have to get all the requirements done, like testing, graduating, work experience?
So once you enroll in the CMA program, you declare yourself as a candidate and pay the entrance fee. You have 3 years to complete both parts of the exam. Once the exam is completed, you have 7 years to achieve your bachelor's degree if you do not already have it. And the work experience, I do not believe there is any limit on the work experience. It's just once you have achieved 2 years of work experience, along with all the other requirements, you can call yourself a CMA. So really unless you are going to be a lifelong college student and never graduate, the only one that you really have to worry about is once you sign up, you have 3 years to get both the exam parts passed, which I think covers 9 testing sessions or testing windows.
I had another question.
Okay.
I was curious, has the CMA testing been affected by COVID? Because I know CFA and CPA testing have pretty much gone up in smoke.
To be honest, I don't have firsthand knowledge of that. I could certainly inquire, but I would imagine that anything that is affecting Prometric's ability to deliver the exam, it would affect the ability to take it. I know that the CFA is affected because at least some of their exams are not taken at Prometric. They're taken, right now it's a paper-based exam for some parts of it, and although I believe they're moving towards going with computer-based testing, but some of their parts are paper and you sit in a large, essentially gymnasium and take it like the SAT. That's certainly not doable right now. So I imagine that as long as Prometric is open, the CMA exam is probably proceeding as scheduled, but if Prometric is not open, then that's going to impact it.
Kevin, another question. If it does affect Prometric testing centers, do you know if your time is then extended at all?
Again, I don't know that. but I can look into it. I imagine the IMA will look into the impacts and come up with a fair response, but that's definitely something I can ask somebody more readily involved in the CMA testing program and get back to you with that.
Other questions for Kevin?
One of the other things I'd like to bring up, they don't really cover it in the presentation anymore, but I think it's a really powerful tool. If you become a student member, there is a feature on the website called Career Driver. And you plug your skills, your strengths and weaknesses, where you feel your strengths and weaknesses are, into the Career Driver tool, and it tells you, what types of jobs you're currently high skilled for, where you seem to be trending, what you can do to shore up areas where you feel you're weak. It's a really powerful tool to kind of analyze where you're at amongst your peers within the profession and see what kind of career opportunities are available out there.
Dr. Leonard, did you have anything you would like to add?
No, I just wanted to thank Kevin and Dr. Ruth for doing this. For the students out there, I have been a CMA for 30 years. I took the CMA exam in 1989, before all of you were even a twinkle in your parents' eye, as the expression goes. When I took it, it was 5 parts. They did each piece of accounting separately. So there was a separate part for the financial accounting, which is essentially the intermediate accounting course. There was a separate part for all of the managerial accounting and cost accounting topics. There was a separate part for the accounting systems area, which is why my teaching lends itself to this. So I have taught managerial accounting, cost accounting, and now I'm teaching the intermediate accounting piece, and I've always taught accounting systems. The other part, when they were talking about the jobs, so I was actually an internal auditor at Goodyear when I first sat for the exam. I finished the testing parts right before I started my PhD program. So that experience. So if students are looking for, if you're thinking of not going the CPA route, if you're thinking, well, maybe I'll get Emeritus MBA instead of going for a Master's of Accounting, then you can look for jobs out of school in as a financial analyst or as an accountant in industry, or some of the companies. So for example, the state auditor's office takes auditors right out of undergraduate school. So there are positions that you could look for. Maybe, like he said, that career driver on the website would be something that's that will help you decide. And then our handshake system for our on our Office of Career Planning, you could find quite a few companies listed there. And one last thing, for the second part too, now it's it's built up more with the financial or finance topics than it was when I took it. So if anyone out there, if you have the finance minor, or if you are considering the CMA exam, it would be good to add the finance minor, because again, that's going to help you directly related to the topics that are going to be on that part too. That's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. Any other last questions for Kevin? Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. I know that everyone enjoyed it very much and got a lot out of it, and we appreciate you coming.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. And like I said, go ahead, take down my contact information should you end up working in the Charlotte market. Right now, I am president for the Charlotte chapter, and I'm heavily involved. And you know, if you guys want to get involved, if you end up in Charlotte, please reach out. And I would also suggest reaching out to your local chapter and seeing what you can do as a student to get board service on your resume. Or to just network, because really there is nothing more important at your age than networking and building that up, because you're going to want to have all those connections when you graduate and are looking for a job.
Who you know is very important, that's for sure.
That is probably at your stage of resume is going to be more important than what is on the resume.
Yep, very true. All right, well, thank you again, and thanks everybody for attending. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.